Hello to everybody, and thank you for the team at Innovation Martlesham for enabling the event today. I guess the topic today is about driving productivity and safety within the business world, and also driving customer experience. But I'd like to present that with a theme of simplicity and simplicity in a challenging environment today. So my name's Simon Jackson. I'm one of the senior account directors within Intelligence, and my guest today is Glyn Elbro from Openreach, and Glyn will talk through some of his experiences later on in the session. So I guess the last few years has prompted many questions in terms of how we stay connected with people, with loved ones, how we maintain essential services. And in that difficulty, video and the use of video conferencing has really closed that loop and started to enable people to maintain contact with family, virtual doctors and GP appointments, and of course the rise of TikTok and video becoming more prevalent as the years have unfolded. But combined with the global need for sustainability, we're having to rethink and think differently about how we conduct our day-to-day activities, and that including the work that we do. So when I think about the purpose of intelligence, we mentioned the theme of simplicity. And we're about developing solutions that are not only simple to use, but also simple to deploy and scale. And within that, enabling organizations to realize the return on investment and benefit in a simple and fast way. Where does our technology fit within the work environment? Well, as you can see here, we're a global organization working across many different sectors. We think of facilities management, where we're providing health and safety solutions to keep any remote workers safe and secure. We look at the telecoms industry and utilities industries, where we're helping to ensure the assurance of and quality of work that's being conducted in the field. And also working in areas such as construction, again with a remote assurance that the construction is being completed to the right standards, but also ensuring safety on site using not only video capture, but looking at computer vision and understanding the situation and safety on site. But we're also connecting not only businesses to their workers, but also to their customers. So we can think of the water industry, where our solutions are being utilized to ensure that anybody can report a leak effectively and quickly to enable swift repair of the issue. So who is looking to utilize video solutions within the business space? Well, we know that many businesses are losing billions in terms of unnecessary field visits and rework. There are many organizations that do absolutely fantastic jobs of scheduling and optimizing their workflow, but being able to ensure the quality and assurance of the work once that's complete, to reduce field visits, reduce the impact on the environment with unnecessary revisits and truck rolls, is something that is only just coming to the forefront now. And we're utilizing video technology to actually deliver this. And the reason for that is we recognize that there's a a real need to capture the situation where the field worker is operating, to be able to bring that information back into the business to then collaborate. So between the experts and supervisors that are in offices or in other remote locations, to the worker, but also for management to be able to understand the work that's going on in the field, and customers and agents to be able to either report fault or assist by having that situational awareness and true picture of what's going on in the field. All of this enabling organizations to truly close the loop and improve their right first time fix capabilities. But where in an organization can this kind of technology work? Well, we're seeing that this is really at all stages. So if we take some of the new industries that are in growth, for example, at the moment, think about the recent output from the government regarding heat pumps. Well, we recognize that installation of heat pumps can take multiple visits, from a survey to establish whether the particular property or building is suitable for a heat pump, or what type of heat pump, to then the preparation works to ensure that the foundations are laid correctly to conduct the installation. Then there's the installation and commissioning of the system, together with the operations and maintenance thereafter, and the ongoing servicing and repair. And at every stage of that journey, we believe that the video based technology can assist in not only delivering first time right in terms of that fix, but also reducing the amount of visits that are required to complete that installation and commissioning first time. So what do we provide as Vintelligence? So our solution is a simple to deploy solution. In fact, you can utilize the solution via any mobile device, be that a phone or tablet. And effectively, we are providing a solution that gives guided video on a storyboard format to organizations to capture the moments that matter. Once those moments are captured, then that video is then uploaded and transfers within minutes to the back office. And this is where we transform those videos into data. So the data is done via utilizing voice to text. We're able to capture and index the videos. We can then utilize AI to drive next best action, as well as then utilizing computer vision to identify certain features within the situation, such as you see in the image contained, that we're identifying PPE in this instance, without the need for any other data capture. This allows organizations to transfer from digital or paper-based forms activity and processes into a much faster, seamless activity utilizing guided video, which captures far more detail in terms of the overall situational awareness, and drive that through the organization using the next best action guidance, truly transforming that video to useful and actionable data. So you can see from the slide here some of the examples of how we're utilizing the technology from a kind of diagnostics capture. But ultimately, this gives real-time feedback from the field. It allows supervisors to audit work remotely, not only doing that remotely, but also without requiring the travel means that the supervisors can audit more work than previously. We're also driving safety culture within organizations. So again, we can use the technology to improve the behavior and participation, whilst also reducing any of the error that can be contained via human error. So using the AI to capture things such as secured ladders, or if you're doing some roadworks, have you the correct Chapter 8 signage. All of these alerts and nudges can then be taken back into the office seamlessly and then fed back into the field within the time-bound parameters to ensure that you're taking the right next best action. Now, I spoke at the start around video being important over the last few years in connecting people, but the problem with video is that it can take time. You need to be in the same place to same time to review, and this is where we have driven further simplicity, because by capturing the video in an asynchronous manner, we're able to then drive the content to the right person, and they can view that video and respond at a time that's appropriate for them based on priority. But by using the searchable knowledge base and capturing keywords and indexing, we're able to speed up that process of only looking at those moments that matter, rather than needing to review every single element of video footage. So what outcomes do we drive utilizing the solution? Well, here is some cross-reference in terms of some of our clients in terms of how they are getting benefit from the system. So by utilizing the solution, we're seeing that organizations are not only able to reduce the number of field visits that they're doing by improving their first-time fix capability, they're also able to reduce the time to acceptance. So, for example, if you are providing a build service for your end customer, it could be a piece of machinery into a plant room, or it could be a cabinet that's providing broadband connections. Then, by utilizing the video technology, we're seeing that we can get that job signed off and in your customer's hands up to 71% faster. How we do that is literally by providing the guided video, which engages the workforce at a high level of consciousness when they are reviewing their work for completion. And therefore, as they take the video, they're engaging with the work differently, which then drives them, if they spot any particular snags or issues, to rework at that particular time, rather than the traditional paper-based forms or digital forms, in which case sometimes these areas can get missed. We're also seeing organizations engage with their customers at a completely different level, and we all know that, you know, the race is on to catch up the Amazon type experience. Now, we're seeing organizations utilize the video capture for things such as pre-surveys. If you are looking to install a piece of equipment or item within a home or business environment, then we can improve that time to delivery and customer engagement by enabling the customer themselves to create a short guided video on the location, which then can be triaged and worked on in the back office to understand if indeed the installation is possible, and if not, where that might need to change. We're also seeing organizations use this to help redirect from call centers. So, for example, integration of the video into chatbots, so that customers can very quickly and easily take a short guided video of the issue, maybe a problem with a washing machine, for example. And then with that video coming back into the call center and being prioritized based on some information tagged to that video, we can then push back out to the customer the next best action to resolve the case and reduce the load on the contact centers. The other area of improvement is around the sustainability and safety culture within organizations. And we're seeing that by utilizing the video technology and guided video as a further layer on any safety wrapper, we're able to increase the response rates and the quality of information coming into safety teams. You can all imagine being on site at a major manufacturing plant, and the power of video capturing the scene rather than a paragraph of text really does provide clarity in the organization as to what the issue is. And not only that, but then suggesting the fix via annotated capture on the video, and also then validating that the fix has been put into place. All of these outcomes have been delivered across the globe and also are quick to deploy. We are very proud of the fact that our solutions can be deployed within 2 weeks of first engagement with a client. And often we see our clients starting to achieve return on investment within 6 weeks of deployment. Now, with that, I want to just introduce Glyn. So, hi, Glyn.
Good morning.
Be good to hear from you and just give us some idea of the work that Openreach LLU is engaged in. I know that many people may not be aware.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I work within the LLU space within Openreach, and what we do is, well, what I do in our area is we provide physical space and power in our exchanges for CPs or our customers to house racks to put in their infrastructure for their own customers. So in essence, the space and power is provided by ourselves, and we put a rack for them to house equipment, which obviously then allows them to access our network or their own network out in the streets for their customers.
Okay, thanks, Glyn. And so within that scope, how has the Vintelligence solution changed your outcomes?
Yeah, I mean, to give an insight of where we were, obviously being a product with space and power, it was obviously heavily regulated, and like all new presences, it required a full audit to be undertaken before it could be handed over for a customer and signed off as complete. Now, for us, that involved a few things, and there was a few issues that we wanted to overcome ourselves, which is why we started looking to alternative solutions. So we had issues like, obviously, the time that it take to actually get an auditor somewhere in the country or the Far Islands of Scotland, which was never an easy thing to do when you've got a limited resource, and obviously the cost and implications that come with that. In that, obviously, that creates delays. So we have issues where we want to overcome the delay of handover of our product. So a presence could be actually there for 2 weeks before it's handed over for a customer, because we just needed the time to get resource to site to do what we called the quality audit, which was a tick-based exercise just so that could be passed. One other thing that we had was a high percentage of snags on deliveries. So I'm not going to say there was a lack of ownership or accountability, but snags was something that we were getting a lot of. So we're having to do retro visits to sites to rectify issues in the installation that weren't completed properly at the time of the install. And wasn't really until we got on in the journey, but we recognised that we also had inconsistencies in our own auditing. With the best will of the world, you have 8 or 9 people trained to do something, and over time, they pick up their own style of auditing, which isn't consistent. So we wanted to overcome that issue as well. So I guess that leads us into the benefits we've seen. And to be honest, I could rattle off loads of them, to be honest, but I'll go with what our main drivers were. But lead times we reduced from, well, really on the day of install to 24 hours. So whereas before our MTTP was high, we've increased or reduced our time to handover by 71%. So that's increasing the time that customer has the presence given to them, or reducing the time that we've got it sat in our dwell. Audits, we were able to remove the need for any sort of physical visit by an installer, or by an auditor. So the installer themselves were auditing their own work as they went using the technology. So 100% of audits now being completed remotely. It's obviously a first time within Openreach as well. So it's a real big achievement for ourselves to be able to say that we could remotely audit successfully to the quality standard required. 93% reduction we had in failed audits, which is a massive number for us. I didn't anticipate it would be anything like that, to be honest, but the simplicity of the app and the technology allowed a simple guide for our engineers to follow, or our installers to follow. And that, I think, was our biggest gain. And one of the biggest surprises. We expected it to happen over time, but the transformation was pretty much instantaneous, which was not, as I say, was a surprise, but a very, very welcome thing that came through to us. What we also found, and I think it was interesting, that what we had before was a product we didn't really visualize or associate ourselves with. But what we were finding ourselves as accountability of the delivery was enhanced tenfold. So we were seeing there was a physical connection almost, because we were visualizing the data, and the data was transformed into a presence that we could physically see and almost touch. So that ownership drove the quality, and almost a sense of delivery and pride in what we were doing, not just in ourselves in the quality team, but in the delivery, but also from the installers themselves. I don't think, I said this before to many people, but I don't think anybody goes to work to do a bad job. But what we were seeing is a much improved quality, and nobody wanted to, I guess, give us bad work. So they had a pride and sense of pride in that delivery that would come through to us. And what surprising, they identified their own snags, they identified their own issues, they identified their own problems and put fixes in place, even before we recognised them ourselves. So it was really, really positive and a really a good outcome for us.
That's great to hear about the benefits there, Glyn. But I guess one of the other things that's important when you move across any of these technology kind of journeys and transformations is that implementation journey. And how was that for Openreach? What was that like?
I have to be honest. I mean, at first it was hard. It was a little bit daunting. You're trying to change a mindset for something that's happened sort of for 8 to 10 years. with, dare I say, a simple technology, and you've got to, and there's a lot of doubt that you can replace people and eyes with, with technology itself. So it was almost, I'm not going to say I had to sell it, but you've got to bring people along on the journey, and you've got to involve the right people. So sometimes I found, or will find, that your biggest critics, the people who doubt it the most, are the people you need to bring on board. So bringing those people on board and engaging them was probably the biggest thing, or the best thing I did, because it allowed them to work on their own doubt, and they delivered the solution, and the solution being delivered was, it can be done. So they started to trust that they could rely on this technology. So winning them and winning those people, individuals, especially the auditors themselves, was the biggest challenge. But once you've got their buy-in and they're confident in what they're delivering, then the rest is sort of, and naturally then just rolled out to the rest of the business and the rest of LLU. So, and building the relationship with yourselves in intelligence was also key. Being able to allow the suppliers to have their input, the auditors to have an input, and for you to engage and understand what the guys were trying to achieve and what we were trying to achieve, and working together really helped as well. So that was a big benefit to us as well. But like you say, it was a difficult thing to start with, but it sold itself once people started to trust that it could work. And I think now what we see is the benefits speak for themselves.
Great. So that basically, so you're sort of saying that really you need to engage and bring your teams along with this, because the change to the technology that appears quite simple just needs that kind of trust to be built within the teams, and I think that's absolutely right, and something that we advocate with. But within that, what I've also heard from you is that you're not only improving the quality outcomes that you're producing as a team, but also delivering that with consistency and with fewer people. So what does that allow the organisation to do now with any kind of resourcing? Because obviously you're able to do more with less, and still maintain and drive the quality and consistency.
Yeah, well, like you say, you summed it up. We've been able to reduce the resource that was in undertaking this, so we've been able to remove that 100%. Now, that resource we've been able to redirect into additional channels of work. So, dare I say, providing the nation its fibre network, etc. So, redirecting into the right areas of where the demand is. We've always had the philosophy that we weren't really quality checking. We were just checking everything because we just felt that we needed to. But what we've got now is instilled confidence that what is being installed is at the quality standard, because the process allows that to come across and be recognised at first time. So we've achieved everything we wanted to do. There was a nervousness from the teams. There was a nervousness from the desk team. But there's now a trust and an understanding that this can all work really well. And like you say, we've got resource now. It's being moved into different areas. We've got our returns reduced to deliver. Our quality's improved. Our failures improved. And now we're looking to develop further.
And I guess that leads me on to the next question there, Glyn. So what is next for LLU?
Well, we want to continue on the journey. So we've got what I call a very good starting point. We want to now enhance that further for the customer and our installers. So the program or the videos or the data now that you've brought back to life for us in the form of the video, we want to utilize aspects of that video now and bring it into other areas such as handover packs and utilization for the customer to ease time within the auditing world as well, the desk-based teams. So using what we've got and being captured, we'll be able to create, hopefully, the pack that our customer gets to say the installation is complete, and that'll be obviously saving more time. But what we won't be doing is asking the installers to take more time to do it, because it will just be drawn from the current timings that we've got. So that's where we want to go. We've introduced a few more videos for snags and revisits if there is ever one, or where we failed to actually install because we've had to abort a site for whatever reason. And like I say, yeah, so I think there's many an opportunity, and not just within LLU, but outside of LLU as well. So we're looking at where else that we can look to explore as well.
Okay, well, Glyn, thanks so much for sharing the story today. Hopefully everybody's found the session this morning useful, and we look forward to any questions that people may have on the presentation, the technology, or indeed the work that Glyn and Openreach are engaged in.